Healing self-worth after toxic connections, toxic relationships, and how this affects your chakras, because the whole goal is to get to emotional freedom. Your chakras are energy wheels. You guys may have heard about them. I'm pretty sure everyone on this channel already has heard about them. If not, they are energy wheels that are in your body. They're tied to your endocrine glands, right? That also is tied to your emotions, different type of emotions, from your virtues to your vices, okay? From anger, guilt, bliss, love, compassion to it's a whole spectrum of your emotions. And when we go through certain like relationships, what you're really doing is essentially you're clearing yourself from karmic lessons, you're clearing generational lessons, you're clearing repetitions and things that you forgot when you incarnated here into this beautiful vessel that you're in right now. Clearing those so that you can start to operate from a higher perspective, a higher awareness, where you can make more space. So what you do, I like to look at it like this, like if you are healing, I'm trying to get comfortable, if you are healing emotional aspects like traumas and repeating toxic relationships, and you're like, I don't even understand what's going on, what it is that you're just imagine yourself like a river, right? A bank, a river bank. And let's say the water, for you to be the most healthiest, the water needs to flow easily in and out, right? That's healthy water. But if it gets stuck in a creek and now there's no movement, it starts to puddle, it starts to mud, the water gets dead, the water gets stuck, it turns to muddy waters, it's thick, it's nasty, there's no movement, there's no energy there. And when you stay there, eventually it solidifies, and then pretty much your energy doesn't flow, and you could literally just be unalived. Okay, let's use that term for a better word to use. It's like you have your emotional glandular wheels that are connected to your glands in your body, right? If they are leaking out energy and there's holes in your aura, you could never vibrate high enough where your soul could actually sit in your vessel and lead you in life. So this whole time, when you're going through toxic relationships, heartache, sadness, pain, emotional blocks, generational lessons, there those are happening because it's literally you mirroring back the lessons that you need to learn so you could get up out of here and evolve. And then not get up out of here like out of this world, but like raise your frequency, see from a higher perspective of you, right? But you can't do that and become lighter if you have holes that's leaking. You're heavy, you're dense, you're stuck, you're like muddy waters. So whenever we're talking about energy healing, I'm looking at my notes as well. So you might see my eyes go down. Just know that I'm looking at my notes. Okay, you're doing this for not only yourself but also for others. You're doing this so that you can start to just bring in new opportunities for better love, better friendship, better people, because that's what you want. That's what you've been vibrating as. That's what you always wanted, right? Hold on, let me hit this. No. Okay, that's cool too. And if you're not taking the time out to stop and pause and be still enough to listen to yourself, to take self accountability, to ask yourself the deeper questions, to detach from what your ego think you need versus what your higher self really desires and wants to experience, what your soul wants to experience, you're gonna keep repeating these cycles like I did, okay? Like a lot of us did, obviously, until you can sit down and learn. And these could range from addictions to sex to drugs to people to needing love to people pleasing, not knowing how to set boundaries, all of the stuff, dealing with narcissistic relationships. And they mirror to you, not necessarily you called them in because that's what you are, but rather like you don't want to keep calling this kind of energy. And so you call it into you to realize, nah, this isn't what I want. What do I need to clear within myself? What do I need to pause within myself? For me, I learned a lot. I learned that I was controlling, wanted to control certain experiences and the outcome of them. I learned a lot about my vices, things that I was addicted to, because my nervous system just couldn't be still enough to really get the picture, get a different message. So also what I realized is that when you go through like toxic relationships, what is happening also is an opportunity for you to not only shift your way of thinking, like release limiting beliefs, release the patterns, release the limiting beliefs and the thoughts and the ideas that was projected onto you, or even that you believe that you took on, that you were born with, because a lot of it is from it's from generations before you, from your mother and your father, and on and on and on. But you also get to shift the thinking with your patterns. It's not just, oh, I know better and I'm going to do better. Yes, you're going to do better, but doing better actually means you have to see a new vision of yourself for you to do better. Because if you still have the old version of yourself, the old image of yourself with a new mind, it's almost like your heart and your body is not in coherence. Your body is still doing the old thing while your mind is trying to get a new result, right? So you need to integrate, but you need to pause enough. You need to be still enough to be able to do that, to integrate. So now you could change your self image. I'm not the person that creates that anymore. What does that person do? How does that person speak? How does that person respond? Do you know how to set boundaries now? Do you speak kindly and not so angrily? Are you still trying to manipulate people? Are you still trying to get your way? You have to actually change your habits and your patterns with your thinking, because you are a whole system. It's as above and below. It's not just as above, right? So you could change certain things that you're manifesting for yourself, so you could stop repeating these toxic patterns, these toxic relationships. So here I put the first thing we're going to talk about: how emotional neglect or manipulation disconnects you from your solar plexus and your heart chakra. What that is saying is pretty much, when you're dealing with toxic relationships, it really can affect your all of your chakra systems. But if we're talking about just the solar plexus, especially the sacral chakra as well, and the heart, and they're literally right next to each other: sacral, solar plexus, heart. And whenever there's an imbalance in one of them, there's an imbalance in the other ones near it, either right above it or right below it. This is affecting your will with solar plexus. It's affecting your way to see something brand new. It's affecting your ability to shed light on the darkness, on your patterns, the ways that you're seeing things, the way that you're not seeing things. You're not able to shed the light. Solar plexus is the sun, right? Is the element of the sun, bringing light to certain things. Also, courage, boldness to take action, to change, that whole embodiment, that whole pattern change. And this is the masculine energy when you're dealing with the solar plexus. When you deal with the sacral chakra, which is right underneath that, that's the feminine principle. That's the feminine energy. You being able to nurture yourself, not need external validation from a man, from your parents, from your friends, from your work, from anything. You being able to be like, all set energy, like, I am the nurturer, I'm the life giver, right? Your sacral chakra, this is where your womb is, right? So this is where you give birth to. You have literally a vortex. You have a womb where you can manifest and create anything. But it's this, it's not, you're not manifesting anything new. This is where you could have BV, you could have cysts, you could have fibroids, you could have a lot of lower back pain, you have all types of issues, kidney issues, urination, UTIs, because your body is literally signaling to you what you've avoided, what you ignored, and you didn't pay attention to it. So now it has to show up in your body to kind of like teach you, like, hey, pay attention. You're not paying attention, right? And unfortunately, sometimes even that doesn't get a lot of people's attention, where it goes on for a long time and now it becomes deadly. It becomes effective to the other surrounding organs, to your entire system. Then it becomes cancerous. And you see how this can really turn into, like, you being unalived, okay? Literally, because your emotions is literally eating you inside out. So that's why I always tell people to meditate and to exercise also. Like, I don't care if it's boxing, sprinting, do something to move that energy out of your field, because your body is literally taking all of that if you don't move your body, okay? So if you're dealing with solar plexus, your ability to take action, to create something brand new, to see yourself in a new light, to be bold, to set boundaries, to be bold to speak up for yourself. All those masculine energy that you love, the protector, the provider type of energy, you don't have that ignited within yourself. Your feminine and masculine energy, they're not working together. They're not working together. They are imbalanced. Okay, solar plexus issues, digestive issues, anything dealing with your stomach, bloating, anything dealing with your pancreas, sugar issues, so diabetics, anything like that. It's all tied together. It's all tied together. And I already told you in another video, if you have diabetes, and you can do your own research, you don't have to listen to me. I really feel like diabetes, because that's like the pancreas dealing with the processing of sugar. Sugar is sweetness in life. It's like if you have pancreatic issues, diabetes issues, you don't know how to give or take when it comes to love. You don't know how to receive love, you don't know how to give love. Maybe you've been hurt so bad that you haven't really opened up you let down your guard, let down your wall, and open up yourself, open up your heart enough to let that energy flow up to your heart of forgiveness, to have compassion, to let more goodness come into your life. So you might get diabetes because you're just trying to consume so much sugar and sweetness from external things and not giving it to yourself from within, so that it could be mirrored back to you from healthy relationships, in a relationship with yourself. So, toxic relationships often activate the nervous system's survival response. When someone manipulates or invalidates you, you embody and your body interprets it as danger. Okay, causing energetic contractions in the solar plexus, the power center, and the heart chakra. This creates a subconscious link between love and fear. So now, when something happens in a toxic relationship, where, let's say, for example, if you get into a relationship with somebody, they tell you to move in and everything is going great, just to find out that this person was just trying to destabilize you. They tried to just make you live off your credit card until it ran up. And meanwhile, they weren't really trying to help you with anything. It was just all a setup. And then just to tell you, okay, things change, you got to go do something different, or you guys are breaking up or whatever. And it's like, wow, it's almost like it was a spiritual attack, right? And manifesting in real life reality. And at the same time, you also get to realize you created that. You created that so you could learn to no longer be codependent off of anyone. You created that so you could go through the heartaches and the pains of really losing everything and starting back all over again. That was your experience, right? So you get to see where you get to learn to set boundaries. Don't be so impulsive. Take your time. Get to know someone, things like that. So another thing with this, don't ever feel pressured or intimidated or be guilted by anybody to make you feel like, oh, you're now learning this, or you're taking a long time to heal or anything like that. The healing journey is a forever journey. It's going to be other tests that comes to see if you've really learned your lesson. And then there's going to be other lessons. There's new levels, new lessons, new levels, new gifts, new awarenesses. You're always expanding and contracting. But as you contract and you learn, you expand and you share. You expand and you share, right? You don't want to get stuck in just contracting. I told you that muddy water turns dead, right? You also don't want to just keep expanding. You have to eventually, you can't think like you know everything, because there's certain aspects of your life that you don't have it together. I'm good at helping people with emotional healing when it comes to utilizing chakras, utilizing tarot readings, but I'm not going to sit here and teach you how to become a millionaire, how to make $150,000 a month. I'm not going to do that, because that's not what I do. That's not what I had to experience. A lot of my lessons I had to learn from was from relationships. So whenever you're dealing with this, let's go back to that. Whenever you're dealing with any type of heartache, right? When it signals to your body that there is a disconnect, and then it creates a link between love and fear. So now you think you love somebody, but really you're just in fear of losing them. So you have to see where you are on that spectrum, right? You're in fear of being left by yourself, being abandoned. You're in fear of being successful. You don't know if you're going to be successful, or you're afraid of failing or anything like that, right? So these affect your energy centers, it affects your chakras. And now, next thing you know, you're having heart palpitations, you can't sleep, you might have a stroke, you might have these things that get worse and worse and worse. And that's just your body letting you know, hey, you could turn this around, but you need to pay attention. You need to be still enough to listen to what I'm trying to tell you. All right. We have the second thing. The moment you realize your worth wasn't defined by someone else's ability to love you, right? because you put so much of your effort of wanting to prove to others that you're worthy of being chosen, you're worthy of being loved, you're worthy of being successful, you're worthy of whatever it is that you're trying to, get with someone for, partner with someone for, work with a team, work with a company for. You're worthy of being chosen. Even I remember, like, I'm sure y'all remember this, when you go to an interview and they be like, why should we hire you? And it's like, why should I work with you? What are we talking about? And that has always been proven that you were actually an asset to the company more than they really were to you. Now that's changing because of those experiences. A lot of people had to lose their jobs to realize, you know what, all of the knowledge that I have, I could actually share it with people that really needs it, that are stuck in their lives, and just use my masculine energy to create that and my sacral energy to nurture that and believe in myself, right? And then just come out and just do it. It might not pop off as quick as getting that first 3 weeks paycheck at a job, but you're doing something that you're in alignment with. And unfortunately, you may have to lose a lot of relationships, your security, your home, and your whatever it is that you've invested in already, your weekly or bi-weekly check. But at least now you're in alignment to possibly even earn more, magnetize to you more, get what's already owed to you actually energetically, right? Because you believe in yourself now. You have a higher value for yourself. You can't, and to go back into that, you need a new mindset with a new pattern. It can't just be affirmations, and this is what you see in your mind. But when you get into a relationship with someone, your behaviors are the same as the last relationship. You get triggered and now you act the same way. And then, by the way, that's your nervous system showing up with fear, anxiety, all of these alarms that's going off, because it's giving you an opportunity. Hey, this isn't this other person, this is you. What is this teaching me right now? Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like I need this validation? Why do I feel like I feel some type of way because this person did this or they didn't do this? Let me check in. That's how you really get to do the work also, so you really start to see, like, my self-worth is really not dependent off of anyone. So wait, I quit my job, I moved to a different country, and I'm still being provided for. Oh, so my worth is not based on all the efforts that I put in at work. My worth is not based on me being here 12, 15 hours a day. My worth is not based on, me showing up to do certain things for all of my time in the world, right? This is great for you. This is great feedback, because now you get to really work on that self-worth even more and see, what can I magnetize to me? What can I bring to me? Because obviously it ain't me people pleasing. It's not me showing up, making sure I'm not late to this job or to be here six days a week, 12, 14-hour shifts. It's not any of that. Because even me, I had to think, like, it doesn't matter how many hours I work, or even if they gave me $100 an hour, it would never be enough. That was my value raising. It would never be enough. Why? Because you're taking the most important thing away from me, my time. My time to love on myself, my time to love on my husband, my time to love on my children, my time to be with my family, my time to create content for people that they could be inspired by. Like, really, I'm losing a lot. It doesn't matter how much they pay you. I'm still losing. So my self-worth, my value had to change. And when that changed, it also changed with relationships. So where am I putting my energy and my time? Is this energy, is this relationship, is it giving to me? Is it taking from me? Is it balanced? Is it equal give and take? Are these interdependent relationships, or am I still dependent on them? Am I codependent on them? And then you could do like me and just completely move to a different country, so you don't have to be, you could train yourself the harsh way. I didn't have to do that. I could just went somewhere else, another state, maybe, whatever. But I wanted that effect where I really needed to work on myself, right? And come to find out, spirit ancestors was like, yes, you do. Matter of fact, while you're here, you don't need to do anything but just sit down, meditate, and heal. Could you imagine? I'm over here thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go work, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go grind, I'm gonna go create. And no, it wasn't time for that. I had so much that I needed to release. I needed to be put down. Okay. I needed this shita on kote. Okay. Mete bundao la shita on kote. In Creole, sit your behind somewhere. Sit down. Sit down. Okay. Because I really needed to like integrate what's going on, pay attention to what's going on, release old habits, old patterns, old self image, old projections, old limiting beliefs. I had so much that I had to release. So don't let anybody guilt trip you for however long it takes you to process and to heal. Because your timing is your timing. I don't care if it takes you 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I really don't care. Your process is your process. There's people that win the Mega Million at like 82. And their whole life, they kind of like was living like head above water, right? Or just barely making it. They're okay. They could go on a trip once a year and, they could do something. And at 82, they get like $482 million. Like, bruh, are you kidding me? That's the sign of showing you like how source always catch up to all the energy that you put out. Once you finally could let go and surrender and learn the lesson and embody someone of by the time you're like 60, you're already maybe even 40 now, because I feel like it comes quicker. I'm 42, it comes quicker. Okay. By the time you're this age, you're like, man, my worth, it's shifted, it's changed. My value has shifted, and it should. It should. With time, with experiences, it should. So don't let anybody make you feel less than about your process and your timing. Period. Okay? They're not living your life. You're living your life. All right? Self-worth recovery begins when emotional validation shifts from external to internal sources. We already spoke about that. This transition rewires the limbic brain and strengthens the self-concept. We already spoke about that, allowing healthy boundaries and self-trust to emerge. Or that's what you're doing. Because you're choosing better, you're able to trust better. You're developing that inner trust within yourself, with your soul, with your spirit. And once you're in this like strong foundation of self-trust, now you're radiating that back out for you to get healthier. You can magnetize to you healthier experiences, people, places, and things, all of that. Okay. From a soul perspective, every toxic relationship is really an initiation. And I feel like all of my experiences, relationships, man, I have stories. Okay. I have people that like, man, listen, it doesn't even matter. But just to tell you, like, I've been through it. Okay. My first experience was me with someone who was also breaking someone else's virginity at the same time and then got them pregnant. Okay. That was my first experience sexually. So I had to learn from early, like my first relationship. And ever since then, it's just been lessons after lessons after lessons. Even after that, 2 years later, I was in a physical abusive relationship in high school. No one in my family was in a physical abusive relationship. How did I attract this physical abusive relationship? Come to find out, his mother used to get physically abused. So that's what he knows. That's what his nervous system taught him. So she doesn't go anywhere or whatever he learned. And for me, because I had some type of low self-worth about me, I attracted that. Best and believe that was the first and last time. However, I still attracted that. I take complete accountability for attracting that, but you don't know that when you're young. But now we got the tools, we got the resources. Lastly, a simple energy healing or mirror affirmation that you can say to help self-value daily, to do self-value daily. Okay, I'm safe to love and to be powerful. And I know people don't like affirmations, but when you say those things, you really get to sit down with a journal, with some professional help, with someone who's done the work, right? And with yourself, and journal and really truly like, what do those words actually mean to you? Do you really feel safe? You might not feel safe to be in relationships again. You might not feel safe to have friendships again, because your nervous system is still like, if it was at 100% and it came down, it's at a 43%, right? And I'm not saying that it should be even at a 0. I feel like 40% is good. Why? Because it's still enough to signal some things to you, but it's not so much where you self-sabotage. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's 80, 90, 100 through the roof, you're going to self-sabotage every time, every trigger, every time something happens. You don't even have the time or the patience to be still to process it. But if it's 40, you're like, I feel something. What is that? It calms you down. It puts you in a space of reflection where you could really just analyze it and see it for yourself, right? It's like, you hear something? Yeah, I hear that. Why do I hear that? You could actually be still enough. But if you're like, there's trucks, there's airplanes, there's music, there's people crying and screaming and gunshots, like you could imagine the people that went to the army, their PTSD is crazy. Okay? And I could see why. I could see why. But at least if it's at a good level, you'll be able to actually do the self-care, turn those energies back to you, utilize those triggers to kind of like help you process when it comes to healing yourself. Because the whole thing is to work on your nervous system. All of your energy centers, again, that you could be operating in your vices, or you could turn them around and operate in your virtues, where you could calm yourself down enough. You don't have to blame anybody else outside of you because you're the main character of your reality. You're the main character in your life. Don't let anybody ever make you feel or think or believe that it's them, because it's never them. Even if they are trying to do that, always check yourself, because maybe there's an aspect of you that feels like you know it all, right? Here's somebody telling you, oh, this is what you need to do, and you're like, wait, what? Where do I feel like I know it all? Who am I telling what to do? That's another thing I had to learn. Like after I learned a few things, because I've learned a lot. I've been a fitness trainer. I had a fitness business online with over 100K. I used to be a model. I did acting. I've been a nurse for 13 years, licensed practical nurse. Like I've learned a lot. I've studied a lot of occult, Gnosticism, and I continue to still want to study because things change. There's so many things that I've learned like 10 years ago that doesn't apply. Even just doing affirmations, it's not just affirmations for me anymore. It's affirmations, but now I'm specific. I'm doing affirmations, not affirmations, affirmations. I'm actually doing activations. I'm utilizing rituals as well to do activations, to shift my mind. Because the more that you speak to yourself, the more that you speak to your cells, the more that it listens, and the more your patterns will come up a lot faster and easier for you to change. You're not just going to change just saying certain things and not believing it. You start to believe it when you start to change your self-image. You start to change your pattern. You start to at least be able to pick up the patterns. But the way that you have to pick up the pattern, sometimes you have to move away from all the noise and be still enough to hear yourself, to feel the difference between your energy and other people's energy, your thoughts and other people's thoughts, what you would do versus what other people would want you to do. This whole path, this whole life journey, and I don't know it all, but so far it's been looking like it's all for me to gain emotional mastery. It's all for me to be still enough and to be able to be powerful enough to just observe the experience, to enjoy the experience, to co-create in the experience, to not let anything happen to me, and to know that it's happening for me. Truly. Like everything that I've ever gone through, I can never be mad at anybody. I think about so many people now from the past, and I'm like, we had a good thing, even as friends, and I miss you. But at the same time, thank you, because I learned a lot about myself and I release you. Doesn't mean I need to go back. Doesn't mean I need to reconnect. I just see it from a higher perspective now. That actually helped me get better. And I trust that you've learned something from me too to make you better. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you go check out the next video that I'm gonna post, or even the ones before that. All right. Go ahead in the description box below, grab that ebook, the Emotional Mastery and Magnetic Protection ebook. Super dope book. I just put a lot of my ideas and some practices that I've done for myself to protect myself and to help me with this journey. And I thought, why not share it with a few people that may want it as well? You can easily download it on your phone or just keep it in your email. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can use it, okay? I'm going to pin it in the comments down below. I truly appreciate your time and your attention. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.